Hello and welcome to all my Flosstube neighbors. I am Chris and this is XrossStitch, and today is Tuesday, November the 28th, 2023, and this is Flosstube number 66. That's very hard to say with these Invisaligns on my teeth. I'm so happy to have you here with me today. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Welcome to the neighborhood. We have a wonderful community here at XrossStitch, and I'm so glad that you have found it, and I hope that you like it enough to subscribe and ring the bell and become an ongoing part of this community of cross-stitchers. This is a channel about cross-stitching primarily, but we have so much more here at XrossStitch. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. It's good to see you again. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. We did. We had a lovely, lovely Thanksgiving dinner on the day with our neighbors, and then we went to a Friendsgiving on Saturday and talked to all the family on the phone, and it was a wonderful holiday weekend, our first Thanksgiving here in New Hampshire, and we couldn't have been happier with it. It was just wonderful. And now we're looking forward to the rest of the holiday season. The Christmas trees are going up. The decorating is in process. There were a few pictures at the beginning of the video of little vignettes on my tree, but I'm not going to show you the whole thing yet because it's not done. It's a work in progress right now. And I should have it done within the next few days. So next video in 2 weeks time, you'll see all of the decor, and it'll be fun to share that with all of you. But let's get right into the stitching. I have 3 FFOs to share with you, all of which are ornaments, and 2 of them are holdovers from Halloween stitching. That is Cat-O-Lantern and Wise Guy. You've seen these, obviously. These are from Satsuma Street. I love the Satsuma Street ornaments. These are being stitched in preparation for next year's Halloween tree, and I'll be working on Halloween stitched ornaments all throughout the coming year. These are just very simply finished on with my adhesive felt there. You'll see this one is pretty clear. I did this one a little bit differently. I did Cat-O-Lantern differently in that I stuck the ornament to the felt and then trimmed around it, and I will never do that again. It does make for a more complete coverage on the back, but it was very tedious. Whereas with Wise Guy, I did my usual trace and then cut and then stick method, and you'll see I still have a little bit of a border in places here and there. This one is shifted over to the side, but again, I don't mind that because that will never be seen. When I do my trees, this will hang from the front, and the only way you'll see this is through the trees from a distance, and if at all. So I don't mind that at all. I tend to go more for the simple finish on these things because I want the beauty of the stitching, the cuteness of the stitching to shine through. So that's Cat-O-Lantern and Wise Guy. And then the third FFO, the third ornament, I actually don't have in my hand, but you'll see pictures of it right here, is my first in the sleigh series by Millhill, the Toyland sleigh. And let me tell you, you're going to look at it now. There's a lot of work in those little ornaments. There's a lot of, there's a good amount of stitching. There's a lot of beading. And then after the beading, you have the stringing of the beads for the little garland, which I absolutely love the way that looks. The swag beading on the side of the sleigh. And then there's the charm you put on it, and then you back it and you finish it. But I love it. It's already hanging on the tree. That's why I don't have it in my hands right now. But I finished that one. Actually, I have a little bit of haul thrown in. You all told me where to get the rest of them. So I now have the entire set of 5 of these Millhill kits, and I'll be working on those going forward. I have all of the sleighs. I'm not going to keep these, however, when I'm finished with them. So one of the giveaways today is the chart and the beading, my leftover beads, and there should be enough for someone to stitch them. If not, the information is on the chart. The only thing that what you won't receive with this giveaway would be the little perforated square of perforated paper or the floss. But again, all of the DMC numbers are included on the chart. But I'll be giving the Toyland sleigh away as a giveaway, as part of the giveaway package today. So those are 3 ornaments in the Ovation of Ornaments section, as coined by our dear Sarah of the Flosstube channel, Sew Me Sarah. And those are my 3 FFOs for today. Just as a little side note, there is another FFO coming, a framed piece, a big one. And, well, it's not a big piece, but it's a big event. So that will hopefully be on next week's video. So hang around for that. And secondly, all of you who guessed that Every Day's a Holiday with Mary was from Mary Poppins, you were right. It is from Mary Poppins. Oh, and one more thing. All of you who suggested that I go look at Mama Loves UGB's Parliament of Owls ornaments, I did. I love them. I've saved them, and you will see some of those being stitched for my Halloween tree coming up. Moving on to works in progress, the Toyland sleigh was a work in progress that actually became a finish and then an FFO, because I did work on that for the first part of the first section, the first few days of the 2 weeks since we've seen each other. I worked on that and finished it and beaded it the whole 9 yards because I knew that my tree was going up soon and I wanted to get that on the tree. I also pulled out the wonderful Winter Woods. This is a stitch along from Satsuma Street. Again, Satsuma Street's one of my favorite. Jody is one of my favorite designers, and I love the colors and I love the style of Satsuma Street, so I do a lot of it. And I pulled out the Winter Woods stitch along. Now, I'm way behind on this, and I don't even care. I'm not going to follow the, I have long since passed the threshold of being in, keeping up with that one. But I love the piece, and I'm going to keep stitching on it throughout the winter. You'll see I did get a little bit of I got a little further on it. Got that beautiful pine cone element stitched onto it. Since there's one more section that's about to come out, but we have 3 out of the 4 now. So it's just a matter of getting that last one, and then I'll have everything to continue on it moving forward. But it's such a fun stitch. The colors are beautiful, and I'm going to love having this as part of my winter seasonal decor once I get it finished and then framed. I may do this in a bell pull. I've never done it. I'm stitching it vertically. You can do this one as a square. You can do it as a horizontal in a row, or you can do it vertically. And I opted to do it vertically because I think it might be interesting to not frame it, to back it nicely with fabric and put it on some nice dowels, or we'll see. I don't know. I might change my mind 15 times in between now and then, but we'll find out about that. But that is the Winter Woods Sal. I worked on that one night while watching the original Miracle on 34th Street. I love that movie. There you go, Winter Woods. Taking a brief break from the stitching before I show you my other work in progress, and one from the vaults that all of you love. I attended the Concord, I live in Concord, New Hampshire. I don't know if I've ever said that before, but that's where I live. I live in Concord, New Hampshire, and love it. And we went to the Concord Christmas tree lighting the other night, and I actually got to meet one of our neighbors. I think she is the first neighbor that I've actually met in person, the first person who watches my videos, other than people who know me, obviously, or people in my life who watch my videos. I think our neighbor, Christy P., is the first of my neighbors that I've ever met in person, and it was just delightful. Christy was there as her alter ego, Cookie the Elf. She was making balloon animals for all of the children, and let me tell you, it was cold that night, and there were a lot of people there lined up having their hot chocolate, but the line for her balloon animals was just crazy. crazy. We only got to see each other for a brief amount of time, and I got to hug her neck, and she pulled out of her pocket this. And I said, and she was very busy, and I didn't want to take up her time. I certainly didn't want to delay the people standing in line for her gorgeous balloon animals. I saw her make a penguin. It was the cutest thing you've ever seen, out of balloons. But I told her that I would open this on my next video on the air. And that is indeed what I'm doing. So my phone is just telling me that I've got something happening, so I just have to click that up. So here we go, live on the air. She said this was kind of either Christmas or Halloween, and I don't know what it... Oh my gosh. You are owlsome. Merry Christmas, Chris. Love you bunches. Christy, a.k.a. Cookie the Elf, a.k.a. Sal's Grammy. Yes, Christy is actually the talent that created Sal, my dear buddy Sal. I should have had him here to help me open that package. Sal's got to come back. Look at this. Is that not adorable? She made this. I bet you dollars to donuts that she made this with her own 2 hands. Christy, I love it. Look, I could wear it as a brooch for the rest of the night, the rest of the video. I love it so much. That is amazing. He will definitely go on my tree. I think we have a new mascot. I think we have a new mascot for XrossStitch. That is just amazing. Thank you so much. Live on the air. I did not open that before right now. And that is just as adorable as it can be. I love him. What's his name going to be? What is his name going to be? He's probably a Scottish owl because he got the tartan plaid. I can't do a real good Scottish accent, even though I am Scottish. Look at that. Wonderful. Tell me what his name should be. What should his name be? Oh, I love it. Thank you so much, Christy. I just love it. Also, very quickly, in the vein of stitchy kindness and gifts for which I feel very undeserving, I have to mention our neighbor and fellow Flosstuber, Jenny, of Jenny Stitching Simply. I found Jenny not too terribly long after I began my Flosstube channel, and if you do not follow her, you should definitely give her a look because she does beautiful stitching, she does beautiful projects, and her stitching is gorgeous. And she's just lovely. She's just one of those lovely people that when you watch them, you feel peaceful. Do you know what I'm saying? She's panacea for the soul type of Flosstube. Out of the blue, she said, I've got something for you. I want to send, what's your address? I found something that I think is right up your alley. And she sent me this box and a beautiful card accompanying with it. I mean, just meticulous. This tissue paper, I never save tissue paper generally, to show people like how beautiful is the tissue paper that the gift was wrapped in, but look at this. Oh my gosh. I am totally saving this and like keeping it for scrapbooking or something because that's so beautiful. But inside was, and I'm not going to go through every single little piece because it does seem like an embarrassment of riches. And, sometimes I feel strange about that and again, undeserving, what have you. But she sent me this beautiful case that full of notions and stitchy things, all intended for my first retreat. And sorry, I cry at the drop of the hat. And I was just so moved by it. And it was so kind. So Jenny, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love this. As I've told you, I'm going to use it until it wears out, and it'll probably be 100 years before it wears out because it's so well made and so lovely. Jenny has an online store. She told me, she said, please don't, this is not to mention this at all. And she doesn't know that I'm going to, but Jenny does have an online store where she sells stitchy notions and all things related to embroidery and cross-stitching. And it's called Patchwork and Poppies Haberdashery. I'll put the link below, but it is a beautiful site. If you are so inclined to go get some Christmas gifts there, I'm sure she would appreciate it, and I can't recommend it more highly. I dropped something. I dropped the card. Patchwork and Poppies Haberdashery. So check that out. Jenny, thank you so much. Again, I love it so much. And Christy, thank you so much. I'm telling you, I just verklempt. I get verklempt. On to another work in progress. This is actually my second oldest work in progress. And this was a December start. Well, no, it was before December. This was a start that occurred shortly after I started my Flosstube channel. My dear friends Annie, the proper stitcher, and Artie, the vintage stitcher, I'm sure many of you know of them and watch them. They hosted the stitch along of this piece by Bygone Stitches, A Quaker Christmas. And many of you worked on that stitch along, and many of you probably finished it. I took a different take with mine. I did it on a Victorian green 18 count Aida cloth, and I'm using a variegated DMC 4520, A Christmas Story it is called. I love this piece. I love this piece so much. It's split into 4 sections, 4 pages. I've completed 2 of the 4, and I'm on, and I'm on the 3rd. It doesn't look like I stitched much on this, but I did. I completed all of the motifs that were bled over the page. That was my first priority, and now I'm working down through it. So many of you love this variegated floss. I love this variegated floss. When I work on it, it looks like ribbon candy to me. And I associate that with growing up and my grandmother and all of those wonderful things about a traditional candy Christmas, a hard candy Christmas, as Dolly said. So I was glad to pull it out, and I'm glad to show it again. I'm going to keep stitching on this throughout the Christmas season. Again, I won't finish this year. This will carry over into next year, but I might have a finish on it by next year. It will definitely go on my whip-go board, even though it is a seasonal piece. So that's A Quaker Christmas. No, I'm sorry, A Christmas. I never know what this thing is called. It's either a Quaker, it'll be below. You'll see it down here. A Christmas Quaker. No, it's a Quaker Christmas. It's a Quaker Christmas. Hi. It's time for story time with Chris, and I am going to continue the story of the mother saga, as I'm referring to it, for this video. And the next 2 videos, my 2 videos in the month of December, I'm probably going to put a little pause on the story, just because I want to focus on other things. I want to visit with you in a different way during the Christmas, leading up to Christmas, and throughout the holidays and what have you. And then we'll resume in January. It doesn't end happily. I just want to prepare you for that. But I'm happy. So my story is moving along happily. The chapter in my life that was with my mother doesn't. So I'm just preparing you for that. It's not a spoiler. I guess it is in some regard. But I just want to let you know that, because, you know, it's not real light and fluffy, which is why I don't want to discuss it as we move into a season of cheerfulness and being with family and celebrating and however we choose to celebrate. When last we left, I had just been brought back to Sulligent by my grandmother. And I was, the interesting thing about this chapter, which is pretty wonderful for 5, 6, 7 years or so. The worst part about that was being away from my mother, who I loved dearly and was very, and to whom I was very attached. But I was also very attached to my grandmother and all of my extended family in Sulligent. My great aunt Johnny May and my, Uncle Henry, Aunt Hattie Clow, and Hattie Clow, Aunt Hattie Clow, you heard that right. And Aunt Ola, you heard that right. Aunt Mavola, you heard that right. I mean, all my aunts were named just crazy things. I had an Aunt Polly. I had an Aunt Icy. Yes, I-C-I-E. Well, anyway, I was very attached to them too. And my hometown, my dogwood tree that I would climb beside my grandmother's house, between us and the Methodist church. Big, beautiful pink dogwood tree. Every spring, that thing is like pink fireworks. Just beautiful. Anyway, I say all that because I was happy. I was content. It was weird coming back to school as a 5th grader. It was only a year and just a year and a half that I was away from the children with which I started school. 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade. But a lot can happen in a child's life in a year and a half. And we were in 5th grade is when you start kind of drifting towards that middle school age. So a lot of different things are going on. It was a difficult re-entry. I remember very distinctly going around to all my teachers and saying, I'm a new kid. I'm the new student. To which some of them said, we know exactly who you are, and they did. But it did nothing for my shyness. I went from home to Birmingham, crazy world, really in my shell, had just gotten used to that place, and then was back in Sulligent and had to do a whole new re-entry thing. It makes me feel so empathetic and sympathetic for any child who moves around a lot. Children of people in the military, children, whose parents' businesses take them here and there. I only had a couple of those experiences, but I can only imagine what it's like. It's difficult, and it gives you a mettle, an M-E-T-T-L-E, a mettle of, depending on how you process it, for either resilience or, stuff you have to work through later on in your life. But my grandmother was happy that I was home. I was happy to be home, and life was more or less placid. Mother was a story in the background. She had become, at that point, a subplot. And that was just fine. The contact with her at first was, pretty good. And then the more time passed, the less frequently the phone calls came. The less frequently the cards would come. And, within a few years' time, there was very little contact at all with her. She met a gentleman and married him and moved to a variety of cities. She moved to Key West, Florida. She moved to Arizona. She was with that particular gentleman, she was hopscotching around the country. And mother was not a secure woman, and it was not a healthy relationship. And I was not witness to any of the particulars of that episode, those years in her life. And I'm sorry for that. But I think that, well, I'm sorry for it, and I'm grateful that I wasn't. And I just, comfort myself in the fact that that was the choice that she made. And I'm glad that I wasn't along with her for that ride. The best thing my mother ever did for me was leaving with me with my grandmother. It's the best thing she ever did for me. Aside from bringing me into the world. That was pretty good. And then one day, she came back. She came back home. She left that man. And after a 2-week buffer period of time, when she went to my family in California, because that was closest to Arizona, she returned back home to Alabama, back to our house, back to me and my grandmother. And it was something. And that's where we'll pick up in a few weeks' time. I would be remiss if I didn't share. I don't usually share my haul with you. I get things from time to time, and I figure that I fill up half an hour to 45 minutes of your time anyway, and that all the haul that I get you will eventually see during as it is being worked upon. But I do have to share this with you because it involves one of my best buddies, another fellow Flosstuber, the wonderful Stitchman Darcy. He has not only is now a designer, he does great fun things. I love it. But now he has moved into the fabric dyeing avenue of the cross-stitch city. I don't know where I was going with that metaphor, but it went over like a dead mouse in a punch bowl. I sanitize that phrase. Some of you know the real phrase, and we won't even go there because this is a channel G, a G-rated floss tube. Stitchman Darcy is definitely not a G-rated floss tube, but I love him. He sent me this adorable card. And these beautiful, I ordered some fabric from him. He has an Etsy store, and I ordered a piece of fabric. And he threw another couple in for me. But I have to tell you something, and I'm not saying this just because he's my buddy. It's beautiful stuff. This is a variety. He does, these are Aidas, because I like to stitch on Aida. I like to stitch on all things, but these particular ones I have specific things in mind for. This blue is just scrumptious. This is called Tangled Up in Blue. He has a beautiful gray, the Gray Beyond. And this one, which is the one I actually ordered, called the 10 Commandments. It's a beautiful parchment-y, old world, antique looking. Darcy, thank you. You're great. Darcy is one of the most entertaining creative floss tubers out there. Definitely not one you want to watch when you got the little ones in the room, but he is an amazing human being, and I just adore you. So thank you so much for that. Moving on to giveaways, we had 4 from last video, and the keywords inspired another one of my Flosstube buddies to write a poem that I am now going to share with you. Mad Morty and the Braum is a wonderful Flosstube channel. Morty and Braum are across the pond in the UK. They're delightful. They like to stitch more spooky, gothic type things, and I really enjoy them. Morty is just so funny. They're hysterical together. It's a delightful channel. I encourage you to watch it. I'm going to have to look this way because I did not commit this to memory, but Morty took the keywords and wrote a poem, and I am going to regale you with it now. Will Santa be puffin' on his 3,000th muffin, or gorging on cookies and pies? 'Cause he'll certainly be huffin', 'cause Christmas is nuffin' without going up one more size. Legendary. That's wonderful. And these are the giveaways that inspired that. The first was this cute little Puffins card. You see right here. I'm sorry this is backwards. I'm sorry the writing is backwards. I still haven't devised a way to flip this around the right way. But this goes to our dear neighbor, Carmen Charles 3842. Carmen Charles 3842. Keyword for that was puffin. Another keyword was wool. This is Silver Creek Samplers Fred's unifying question that says, will you be my neighbor? You know, this is kind of the honorary chart of XrossStitch, his channel. My battery is going to die soon, so I better wrap it up. This goes to Mel Patton 4731. Mel Patton 4731. If you have this, Mel, let me know and I'll swap something out for you and I'll put that back into the rotation. Another one we had was this wonderful vintage Heart and Hand Christmas keepsake kit. This comes with all the stuff you need for it. This goes to Robin, Robin Bunis, B-U-N-I-S 6792. Robin Bunis 6792, the 2002 Christmas keepsake ornament. And finally, we have a Bent Creek kit, a vintage kit that comes with beads and what have you. Did you hear Pumpkin sneeze? He just sneezed on the other side of the door right there. That's my cat, Pumpkin. This goes to Gail Burrows. Gail Burrows 257. Gail Burrows 257. If all of you would email me your mailing address at the email address below, chrisrossstitch@gmail.com, 3 S's, the X for the cross stitch. I will get those out to you very soon. And we have those 2 vintage kits were all given to me by our dear neighbor Daisy. Yes, Daisy. And I went through the bundle that she sent and I separated the things that I'm going to keep for my stash, and I separated out the ones that I want to offer up for giveaways. And because we have reached 7,000 subscribers, unbelievable, 7,000 subscribers, 7,000 neighbors in our neighborhood. I've got 7 giveaways today. Most of them are courtesy of our neighbor Daisy, and here they are. Well, the first one is not from Daisy. The first one is from me. It is the Toyland Sleigh Kit that I stitched from which I stitched my ornament. That's for all you English teachers out there. Again, this does not have the perforated paper, but it does come with the beads that I had left over, and it comes with the chart, of course, all of which has the information for the beads that you might need. This also doesn't have the little charm. There's a little teddy bear charm that hangs off the back of it, but you could substitute a charm of your own, or you could just leave the charm off because it's certainly beautiful enough without it. If you would like to be considered for this, please use the keyword Toyland. Toyland. It's number one. Number two, and again, these are all courtesy of our neighbor Daisy. These are all vintage Millhill kits. The first one is called Holiday 8. I'm gonna try to, sorry for the wrinkle. This is very cute. It has, this comes with, the perforated paper is a little bent. So you might need a new piece of perforated paper. But this comes with the floss. You see, these are novelty buttons that it has. This is an angel centered pattern. Angels, I wish you could see it better. There you go. Let's let the keyword for this be, I'm trying to think of a word that you won't, if you're not interested in it, you still might say holiday. Well, that's what it's going to be. Holiday. Keyword for this one is holiday. Okay? Then we have, oh, this is going to be, okay, I know what I can do. This is a Millhill Holiday Simple Treasures. This is a paper box that you stitch the top, for which you stitch the top. And it's got an adorable little rocking horse on that. Again, it comes with all the stuff you need for it. This is in good condition. This one is going to be rocking horse. I rarely use two, but let it be rocking horse if you want to be considered for that one. That's 3. Number 4, this is an ornament, a Millhill ornament, Charmed Angels. Charmed Angels. This one is going to be angel. Keyword is going to be angel. 7. Yeah, we have 7. Okay. Angel. This is a pin, an actual pin that you can wear, or it could be an ornament. Adorable, little bunny underneath a tree. This is going to be, keyword for this is going to be woodland. One word, woodland. This is another of those pins. Adorable, and again, this comes with everything you want. We've used holiday, we've used angel. This is called the joyful angel. Joyful. Joyful is the key word for this. And then number 7, this is holiday 4 Millhill. This is just a, like you framed this one, but again, it's got the novelty buttons, vintage, button and beaded kit. This is called Winter Pines. So the keyword for this is winter. Winter. 7 giveaways for 7,000 subscribers. And what a wonderful thing to be thankful for. So again, if you're interested in those, please use the keywords listed. Be 18 years of age or older so I can ask you for your address. Please be a subscriber to the channel. Please like the video. And in your comment, of course, don't use words like giveaway or gift or free or anything like that. You all know what to do. I don't even need to say this anymore. But there we go. 7 giveaways for 7,000 subscribers. So that's today's video. Thank you for indulging me with story time and not quite as much stitching as normal. The first part of our 2-week break, I was gung-ho on stitching. And then of course we got into the Thanksgiving holiday and that it tapered off a bit. And now it's all about decorating. But as soon as the trees are up and the house is done, I'm going to get back to stitching in my chair at night as I watch television. So I hope that you have a good 2 weeks ahead. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. I had a great Thanksgiving and a lot to be thankful for. And I'm thankful for 7,000 people out there that I consider my neighbors, each and every one of you. So take care until next time. And until then, bye-bye.